All right. Pretty sure we're live now. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We got all kind of new formats and new this, and we're trying to get the cameras right and the backgrounds right. You could tell it's been a while. It's been a real while. This is the longest hiatus we've ever taken. Didn't really tell nobody too much. We just kind of needed to sort of reset, refocus, and readjust the approach. Obviously, we're going to get it out just right off our chest. We're going to try to have this hashtag trending all season. Fix Game Pass. Bring back the 22. Bring back the 22. That's a double entendre, Germ. But that's really a big reason why we kind of just like, okay, we got to put a reapproach to everything that we do, because everything that we do revolves around the 22. But it is a new season. It is a new day. It is a new way that we live stream up on this platform. And I know we're going to be a little rusty at first. You see the names. You see the faces. It don't change. What is this, year 5 now? Year 6? Something like that we've been doing this now? Just the 3 greatest football minds that I have come across. Well, I know we got the Bill Belichick's of the world and everything, but there is no 2 people that I enjoy talking this beautiful game with more than my 2 brothers, and that is Germ So True and Vic Jr. Germ, you ready to unmute yourself? Brother, I know the people is God did. Oh, see, Germ back on mute. Germ, okay.
So here's the thing. Here's what's funny. What's funny about this whole situation is that I didn't have quite a concept for the picture, but now I do. So how much is it going to take for us to turn them 22 views into our 22 views? That's the concept that this is going to be now. So that's number 1. Number 2, hey man, listen, true man, False World reporting live. Scene. We here. Football season's close. We're getting ready to get this thing going. So must believe, trust believe. We are here, and it's time to get this thing going.
Oh, you want me to go?
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, Vic.
Well, that was a heartwarming message from you to kick off this 2022 season. It's been a while, yeah, man. Like, we kind of each been doing our own thing, kind of exploring different avenues, different things. So it has been a very busy 2022. Can't complain though, because I'm alive. That's it first and foremost. Breathing every day, thanking God for that. But excited, man, to be sitting here talking with y'all, of course, man. Like Mo said, man, fix the film, please. That's basically what's my life for the last 10 years. But not my life for the last 10 years, but, big part of it. So, hobby that I like to do, that relaxes me, that kind of stuff, It's such a beautiful game to study, every nuance and detail of it. When you're a detailed person, football is something for you to study. So, but yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for sure. It's nice to see y'all faces. Ready to kick it off, man. Shout out to the people.
Hey, man. I mean, listen, it's been one of those off seasons where a lot of things have happened. A lot of things have unhappened. There's been a sort of some late movements here as of late. I think we'll just focus on these 2 teams, and by rights, we got to start with the Super Bowl champions. And me and Vic kind of touched on this a little bit before we got on here. It's a different team than the team we saw in February beat down the Bengals. It's a much different team. No Odell, no Vaughn, no Whitworth. I mean, you've lost some key pieces that were pivotal in not only getting you to that game, but winning that game as well. I mean, Odell had a touchdown. He had some big catches before he got that. I think it happened was second quarter, I think it happened, the injury, or early in the third. Either way, it happened at a significant time in the game, and he was just getting going. Von Miller made a lot of impact plays, not only during that game, but during the postseason as well. And then Andrew Whitworth is just consistency at its finest. You know, I think he is just a rare treasure. And obviously he's a left tackle, so he's not going to be celebrated like if a receiver played that well for that long, or a quarterback or a running back or a pass rusher. I mean, you know, a good day at the office for these big dudes is a quiet day at the office. No beef, no Lombardi. We always go there. So the beef looks a little different for the Rams. You still have the best player in the world who contemplated retirement, according to rumors. I don't know where that came from. So, Vic, we kind of talked about this briefly. Let you kick it off. The Rams, what are you expecting from them? The first couple weeks of the season, new team, new look. We mentioned some things about the quarterback that's kind of lingering going into the season. So give me your thoughts on here on what to look for with the Rams early in the season.
Well, real quick on that, for anybody that may have not known, Matt Stafford, according to the LA Times, is dealing with an elbow injury that he had some work on in the offseason. This injury supposedly is a type of tendonitis that is found in MLB, in pitchers in baseball. So that's going to be something to definitely look out for. You mentioned the offensive line. Andrew Whitworth now being replaced by Yousef Noteboom. We don't need to really discuss how much of a downgrade that is. So that's going to be,
sure.
This kid is going to have one of his best seasons to protect Matt. Matt is a pocket passer, and he's going to need his left tackle. The Rams, again, they a very solid offense, but their run game, the run game was 25th last season with 99 yards average. Cam Akers was out for most of the season. He is healthy and ready to go. It's gonna be interesting to see if he can develop into a feature back like he showed towards the end of the 2020 season. So that's gonna be big for them because they will pass the ball. They will be good at passing the ball. I don't know if you expect the same Cooper Kupp type of production because what he did was extraordinary last season. They did pick up Allen Robinson. That probably is their most significant transaction. But how much, when you talk about a situation like, replacing one receiver in Robert Woods to somebody like Allen Robinson, is it a big, like in baseball, they like to use WAR, wins above replacement. How big is that separation going to be between Allen Robinson and Robert Woods? So those are the things that interest me. I'll let you guys keep going.
No, absolutely. I mean, you brought up a lot of great points, and I think the one thing we just kind of want to focus on before we transition to Germ, kind of stick it to the offense for a while. When I toss it to you, Germ, then you can take it to the defense. But just some of the things that Vic brought up, this elbow injury, it's not one to be overlooked or brushed under the table. Clearly, it's of concern to the Rams, to Sean McVay, to that coaching staff, that athletic training staff, because he hasn't had any real action all off season. The most extensive work he's done, especially in terms of live simulation, is they had a scrimmage recently, I think earlier in the week or less than a week ago, but they had a scrimmage in which he got 60 snaps. I mean, what's 60 snaps to an NFL quarterback? So as far as your question, can Cam Akers be a feature back? I think early in the season, he's going to have to be, because this is a competitive league and they're in a competitive conference, and they sure as hell are in a competitive division, even though, just being quite honest, trying not to put any spoilers, it does seem like that division is going to be a little easier this season. And I'll elaborate on that on the season show. Go ahead, Vic, before we take it to Germ.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll get into who we think the division winners are. There has been regression in the NFC West for sure. So they would really have to collapse not to be able to win this division. One of those three teams would have to have, significant gameplay. I mean, it could be the Cardinals. We'll see where they take this, step forward. But
Right.
Russell Wilson no longer in the
Right.
division. Some people hated Jimmy Garoppolo, but to me, he's still better than Trey Lance. So that's going to be interesting to see what the 49ers do, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a defensive division. Like, this division is going to have still some solid defenses.
Yeah.
So they'll beat each other up when it comes to that kind of stuff. But yeah, the Rams should be able to win this division.
Well, again, we'll leave most of it for the rest of the show, but there's no doubt about that they're going to have to rely on Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson as well. They're going to have to get some serious volume early in the season while they still gauge where Matt Stafford's comfortability is, and while they still also gauge the strength of that elbow. And hopefully it gets a little better in time. But as Shannon Sharp says, if you come into the season hobbling, you're going to leave the season hobbling. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the golden rules of the NFL. You're not going to get better by working harder, by working it extra, or by taking hits or straining it more. You're just not going to get better that way. So it is, in my opinion, and certainly in our athletic training staff department's opinion, that Matt Stafford's elbow is a concern and something to keep an eye on. But Jerm, I mean, we know what Allen Robinson is. We know what Robert Woods was. We know what Odell Beckham is. We know what Cooper Kupp is. You know what Matt Stafford can do. You know what the Sean McVay offense is built off of. Just give me some things that you're looking forward to in the first couple weeks of the season with this offense, in particular, how AR-15 and Cooper Kupp work off each other, or AR-12.
Well,
I can't even keep up no more.
Yeah. But let's just highlight two key things. We really can make this really simple. Allen Robinson is probably one of the 10 best receivers in the league at short area, short yardage, quick slants, comebacks, anything pertaining to 10, 15 yards. He's probably one of the 10 best in the world at those type of things. He's going to be excellent in those areas for Matt Stafford in that situation. The only issue that we're going to have here is that him and Cooper Kupp work in similar areas. So I'm going to be interested to see how they use those two players together in certain situations. So I look for some stack formations and things like that. I look for a lot of good things to come out of that. The other thing here is, I think the key for them also this year is going to be the screen game. The screen game, because running the ball is only one part of it. The other part of everything is screens and draws, and those things all together as a complete complement to the passing game in general, especially your deep passing game. Those two things are going to help get the ball in players like Cam Akers' hands. And in space with big guys in front of him is going to be a lot different than him having to take a handoff in certain situations. So I'm looking forward to seeing. Sean McVay is one of the best screen play callers we have in this league. I want to see a lot of screenplays tonight and the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season. Make teams have to game plan for your screen game. Some of the screens that they've done for these receivers is nothing short of incredible. So imagine what we can do for running backs and tight ends.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to those things there.
I think, again, excellent points. If anybody's going to be able to get creative, if anybody's going to be able to find a way for them to stay efficient, even with some limitations early on by Matt Stafford, I do think they're in the good hands with Sean McVay. I mean, I think we are hopefully way past the conversation of whether these young coaches, or especially the likes of Sean McVay, if he belongs in the conversation of one of the best coaches in the NFL. I think let me kind of reword what I was trying to say. Out of all the young coaches, he is the most deserved to be in that conversation with Harbaugh and Andy Reid and Sean Payton and Mike Tomlin, and you name them. We're going to keep Bill Belichick out of this for a minute, but including Bill Belichick, he's included in that conversation. Just again, Bill's probably the best coach of all time, so it makes no sense to even include him in this conversation. I'm just talking about the very good coaches who have one ring in this league. which basically is everybody but Bill Belichick because Tom Coughlin retired. But we're gonna leave that for a different day. I don't think Sean has anything left to prove, so to say. 2 Super Bowls, very successful. You see how he relates to his players. Before we transition here a little bit to the opposition and their coaching staff and what they have to prove, something very important to touch on. Or let's just go around the horn real quick. Is this defense for the Rams, can they continue to improve? And can they, dare I say, carry, using a lot of air quotes, dare I say, carry this team, particularly the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season? Vic, start with you, because, Leonard Floyd keeps getting better. Right. They still got Jalen. They still got Donald. They signed Bobby Wagner, who is, I don't care how old he is, he's still probably the best tackler in the league.
So, one of the smartest. He's
right.
He's one of those guys where, like, even if there's some regression in terms of his speed, physical traits, his intelligence is incredible, his awareness. So, I mean, it's going to be key for this defense because, at the end of the day, like, this defense, as opportunistic that they were, always leading in pressure, they did give up a lot of yards both in passing and rushing. So this defense could be had, and is there any progression there? Can Bobby Wagner help in the run game? Can he help in the passing game? Protecting those short areas and stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting. Jalen Ramsey, looking forward to see if he trails Stephon Diggs today. Traveling with him, that's going to be a lot of fun to see. So that's going to be key right there for this game specifically. What does Jalen Ramsey do with Stephon Diggs, who had an outstanding year last year again? So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, we will, because one of the last questions I was going to ask was which matchup are you looking forward to the most? And I was actually going to say Duval County, Jalen Ramsey versus Allen Robinson is going to, as two former Jacksonville guys, familiarity with each other. I think it's going to be very interesting. I would rather see Jalen on Robinson. Oh my God, they're on the same team. What am I talking about?
Stephon Diggs.
You're referring
Rusty.
to Gabriel Davis.
Jerm, go ahead. Rusty, go ahead. Jerm, go ahead.
You're referring to Gabriel Davis. Gabriel Davis is who I probably want Jalen on. I want him there because I probably want Troy Hill to be a little bit more attached to Stephon Diggs, considering Diggs will line up inside, outside, different things like that. Jalen, if you're going to talk about strictly from the boundaries, Gabriel Davis is becoming the engine that makes this whole thing go. And he's becoming a bigger and bigger threat in his offense because of all of these short area quickness guys. Because he's the big guy that can stretch the field, 6'3", 225 pounds, and he runs a sub 4.4 in the 40. It's going to be a very, very big part of what they're going to be doing moving forward. Here's the key part, though. The key is there's 3 key elements to defense that get you to championships. Yes, you have to take the ball away, you have to stop the run, but most importantly, you have to get some type of pressure. If you don't get pressure, that hurts you where? On third down. If the Rams don't get pressure last year, Jamar Chase smokes Jalen Ramsey, and we're talking about Joe Burrow for one of the best seasons we've seen from a pro player coming off of an ACL injury. If you don't take the ball away, you don't put yourself in situations to give your offense shorter feet. That is important because there are going to be games, there are going to be matchups that you need short field and to be able to capitalize on. But most importantly, with all of that, stopping the run. If I can line up and do a reverse pivot handoff 5 times in a row and get 20 yards, that's a problem. That's a problem. We cannot allow a team to be able to run the ball on us and get 4 to 5 yards a carry. When you're able to run, especially on the interior, especially in between the A-gaps, if you're able to control the line of scrimmage via offense or defense, that sets the tone for a lot of other things. And that is the one thing that the Rams are going to have to focus on this year. This is the year you have the linebacker that may not be the same guy, but he can go sideline to sideline. So what are you going to do to complement him? Are you going to make sure that you got a guy in front of him and next to Aaron Donald, that's a great one tech that can aid the three tech of how Aaron Donald plays. And yes, I said aid the three tech. One tech is your stuffer, three tech is your rusher. It's really, really simple. So how many of these doctors can we appoint to Matthew Stafford to turn uh, Stafford from Detroit into championship Stafford again? That's going to be the key thing for this entire season. What doctors, what medicine can you throw at him to make sure that he's going to be healthy? Because if as long as he can make you defend majority of that field with that beautiful arm that he has, they're gonna score 27 points, and you can't stop it. So on the other end, can you stop the run? Can you take the ball away? And most importantly, can you get pressure? If they do those three things, they'll be right back in the championship spot again. Because again, it's only two or three teams on that side of the field that can challenge them offensively and defensively.
Right. All
Real
right.
quick, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody on the chat right now.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see it, but we got Trav, of course. First, Yousef, Maver, love you, my brother. Tanya's there, Ronnie is there, Category is there. Like everybody's already having fun with each other. Dennis is already talking junk. I mean, the energy is clearly up. We got Jerry. Shout out to Jerry, man. That dude is crazy. And the COD streets.
Shout out to Jerry, bro. Shout out to Jerry.
That dude is incredible.
Just shout out to Jerry as a friend, as a man, and as a father.
Oh yeah. Doing everything.
And as a hustler.
From where you came from, absolutely. So yeah, man. The Bills. I mean,
let's talk about the Bills,
guys. So I'm excited, guys. I don't know about y'all.
Can I jump in real quick on the Bills first?
Imaginary players. Go ahead, Jerm.
Imaginary playmates. Ooh. Imaginary playmates. And listen, here's the problem.
Ain't got no leather. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Listen, the problem with the Bills is this. It's not the quarterback. I think the quarterback is top quarterback is top 3 in the conference. I'll give him that. Top 3 in the conference. Maybe.
Hey, say nothing. I'm waiting for you to finish your point, brother.
All right. So after that, you can't run the ball. Let's talk about the deficiencies. You can't run the ball, and you're not going to protect the quarterback very long. So you're somebody that I know I could take the ball away from at some point. You're somebody I know I can stop your run because I don't really have to do much to try. But most importantly, you're somebody who I know that I probably can impose my will on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage. I don't care about all the glamour and glitz and all of the great skill position players. That's all cool. But Josh Allen has not shown some things that Joe Burrow has shown. And this is something that's very, very important. When you have an inept offensive line, you have to be able to use and utilize each piece on that line as a shield of protection in some way, shape, or form. So that means if you know that this guy can't contain an edge rusher to the outside, then that means you need to step inside of his inside shoulder to be able to draw yourself or buy yourself an extra couple of seconds. If you know that this guy here doesn't, you have to know what your pieces do. See, all of that drifting, all of that falling away, all of those extracurricular bad plays, those are the plays that I'm worried about for this team, considering the offensive line has still not improved. I don't care how many skill position players you have. You still got to have at least one guy up front that you can rely on that stabilizes your offensive line. That's going to be the key here for that entire season. Period, point blank. Offensively, you can have everything else, but I need to see offensive line and defensive line. I need to see them stable, and I need to see protection, and I need to see pressure. Yes, Von Miller and Ed Oliver are going to be quick twitch guys to get pressure, but where's your one tech? Who's on the opposite side of Von? Is that guy going to be consistent? Are you going to rotate guys? Is this AJ Espanza, is this him? Is he the guy that you put on the opposite end of arm? Tremaine Edmonds, have you stepped up to the ability of being a upper echelon linebacker in this world of linebacking where we are reading, reacting, and finishing and not guessing? If Jordan Poyer, and on top of Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde are all pro safeties, the world of the safety is in trouble because those are not guys that are more than utility players that are excellent in the roles that they play, but they are not guys that should be all pros with some of the talent we have in this league. I will say imaginary players is the perfect song for them. So how many of these Von Miller pass rusher dollars can we use to turn AJ Espanza into the perfect complementary player? How many of these Von Miller pass rush dollars can be turned into a left tackle?
Yeah.
And there we go.
Boy, I mean, I think with both these teams, the focus, the engine is on the defense. The focus of this team needs to be on the defense. The engine of this team, of both these teams, is gonna be the defense. But for the Bills, if how do I put this? If the defense is the engine, the offense is the starter. Okay, like I don't know how else to put it. You know, or the spark plugs. Maybe the starter is a better analogy in this situation than the spark plugs, because the spark plugs would indicate it's the heart, and I don't want to do that. Anyways. Like I saw it in the comment section. I could hear his voice the minute we started talking about the Bills offense. It is a pet peeve of Big Shot the way the Bills do not use their running game, and it should be a pet peeve. It should irk every smart football fan the way the Buffalo Bills utilize their running backs, and that's where I want to talk about the coaching with Sean McVay. He's good. With Sean McDermott, I'm gonna say it. I am gonna say it. He is one mediocre season away from being Jay Gruden. Go ahead, Vic. You take it away with what Jern was talking about.
Dropping a hammer right there. Yo. Yeah, man, a lot to uncover here. I got some notes myself. I mean, you guys hit it on the nail. I mean, you look at this offense, the only acquisition that they made this offseason was Roger Saffold on the offensive line. But again, the tackles, you know, are they going to be able to step forward? You know, Deion Dawkins is, you know, middle of the pack kind of guy, maybe 10 to 15 in the league. You know, Spencer Brown at right tackle. What are those guys going to bring to the running game? Because, I mean, you know, again, I got some numbers here. They were actually sixth in the league in rushing, believe it or not, with 129 yards a game. But most of that came from Josh Allen. And you guys know how I feel about running the quarterback. Josh Allen is one of my favorite quarterbacks in this league. He was MVP, the first MVP that Rodgers had a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he could have been the second MVP. He could have had his second MVP last season. You know, we're going to talk about Tom Brady's season too. So that's my guy right there. I know how you feel about him, but I mean, we need to cut down. We need to cut down on these rushing attempts by Josh. This is a big kid. Okay, ankles, knees can start giving way. You know, and I just, again, a lot of these football coaches, I don't know where the team doctors, the trainers are in these cases talking to them about it, but we need to limit some of those rushing plays. I think he had, 763 rushing yards last season. That was second to Singletary with 870. So, I mean, again, is it helping you win football games? They are making it pretty far with the current strategy, but is he enough to get them to a Super Bowl contention? They need to be in the Super Bowl contention now. And again, like I said, Roger Saffold, biggest acquisition at guard, but is everybody else ready to take that step forward along with the rookie that they drafted? Can't get his name right now. I think is James Cook who is more of a Devin Singletary kind of guy than a
Yeah.
physical runner, which is, I like the player, decent player, but does he fit what they need and not what they're trying to do with this offense? And that's just having these running backs catch passes. We need somebody physical, to help take some pressure off Josh Allen and his rushing attempts.
Kind of waking up a little bit right now. It's been a while. Kind of, you know how a shooter starts just. So a couple of things. I got a couple of things here, Vic. Right. Number one, as far as the acquisitions are concerned, you talked about Roger Saffold. They signed Quisenberry as well. I think he's going to be playing right tackle for him. Talk about that running back. They also got Duke Johnson. I don't know if he's available to play tonight. I don't know when he's going to be available to play. But the point is, there needs to be more productivity behind the line of scrimmage. Period. Point blank. You said, okay, they've been getting far in the playoffs. Let me tell you the beautiful thing about the NFL, right? Your team got better. So did 31 other teams. And in some cases, teams didn't get better. But the point is, the teams that you got to worry about, they all got better. And some of the teams that you think you didn't have to worry about, they got better. So if you signed, if you drafted, they signed, they drafted. For the Bills, they shame on them if they come in here thinking that the formula that got them one game away from the Super Bowl, or matter of fact, no, then they lost to the Chiefs. So they didn't even get the conference. They didn't even get to the championship game. If they think that same formula, what's that?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, Bengals, Chiefs. Yeah, they
didn't even get to the championship Sunday.
Yeah.
So if they think this same formula is going to get them there and beyond, they are sadly mistaken. They need to be more productive behind the line of scrimmage. Period. Point blank. And I don't know where it's going to start, but it certainly shouldn't lead with Josh Allen rushing for how many ever yards he rushed for last year. I think he had a career high in rushing yards last year. There you go. That must have, but they need. Go ahead.
I mean, as they get older, bro, what is he, 25, 26 now? That's older in NFL terms. It's the most physical sport in the world right now. You know what I mean? So, we're going to talk about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson and guys like that later on.
Listen.
How much?
I got service to bring to you about Lamar Jackson this week. Okay? I don't whether you want to feel the gospel or not. God did. Okay, I got something to bring to you this weekend. Jay, shout out to my brother Jay. First of all, shout out to everybody in Memphis. Glad everybody that we know and love is safe.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Wildness in the world. But Jay will tell you a few weeks ago, before some madness happened in my life, me and him were just texting back and forth about some shit. Beep. And Jay was like, "Oh, you back in the lab?" And I'm like, "Listen, I'm not saying I'm back in it. I'm just saying I dusted off the laptop a little bit. So I got something to bring to you about Lamar. But again, just to keep it with the Bills, it cannot be what it used to be. I think I also saw that they have Tavon Austin on the roster. Do not give me 5 to 6 swing screens per game with Tavon Austin. Okay, I do not want to see it. I do not want to see it. It's for the Bills, productivity behind the line of scrimmage on offense, and they need, as a unit, that defense to get even better and play even faster. And that's going to start with the quarterback, quote unquote, of that defense, and the freakish athlete Tremaine Edmonds, who hopefully becomes everything that Anthony Barr was supposed to be. We'll leave it at that.
So they also acquired Jamison Crowder.
You don't like that one, Jerm? Not feeling it too much. I got you.
You know the problem with Edmonds is, see, he's still fairly young to the position. Edmonds is still only 22.
I know.
So it's like we talk about it all the time. I hear big shot again in my ear. Football material. Is he going to mature enough at the position to be an asset and not a liability? Because a lot of their big plays that you're getting in that run game are from him not being in places he's supposed to be.
And the last thing I'll say about this offense, Cole Beasley's not there. Say what you want about Cole Beasley, man. I'll tell you this. A couple years ago, I wanted him to be in New England. I wanted him to go to Tampa. Say what you want about Cole Beasley, but in today's NFL, he is an easy 4 to 6 yards. Little slot curl, slot hook, slot flat, whatever. Just quick little thing that's close to the quarterback, a safe, nice little quick throw. They're going to miss that. And so I just think for the Bills early on, if they're just getting most of their offense through explosive plays, it's a problem. This game is not about explosive plays, which leads me to the prediction part of it. We're gonna go around the horn and everything.
I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
I think they got Jake Crowder.
Yeah, they got Jamison Crowder and Isaiah McKenzie.
They do.
Again, it's just one of those situations like I talked about with the Rams.
They're gonna be pushing the ball a little bit more down the field, though.
Yeah.
Remember, Beasley is not the guy that you use in that type of role. So we're gonna see. But let's get to these predictions.
Yeah. So with everything that we've been saying, right, about both of these teams, I think for one, I think the Rams are gonna have to play a slower pace game, a more, again, I don't know what's up with these air quotes today, but a more traditional football game, a more traditional style of football where they're keeping it on the ground, trying to control the pace, and really slowly breaking in Matt Stafford's elbow, maybe some screens like Jerm was talking about. So I do think this needs to be more of a traditional football game. And if that's the case, 100%, I'm taking the Los Angeles Rams, although I think as the season progresses, the Bills should have a better season. But I do think the Rams will come out and they will win it today. And here's a stat to carry with you for the rest of the season. I don't know if this is official. I don't know where I got it. I know there's truth to it. I don't know if it's 1-5 or 0-6. It may be 0-6. But the Bills were 0-6 last year, including the playoffs, in games decided by 5 points or less. If you can't grind wins out, if you can't play in the mud, shout out to J Ham, shout out to 94 Feet of Life, you are not going to win in this league, okay? You need a 4.4, and they're just a little short of it. And I don't see any change long-term in the Bills. I think this is Sean McDermott's last year. I think it's going to be another year of damn what Josh Allen could be. And they're going to win some games. They're going to dominate some people. But I think as the season continues to progress, you're going to see more and more flaws if they don't do the things that we highlighted here today. For today's game, give me the Rams 20-14.
I'm in a completely different side of the spectrum there.
I love it.
I think that the Bills are going to be able to dominate this game. And when I say dominate, the score might be close, but I think that they will control both sides of the ball. Even defensively, I think that they can give the Rams some issues, that speed. I expect Tremaine Edmonds to take a leap forward. Jerem talked about it. He needs to become one of those top 10 linebackers now. You were drafted for that reason, and you were put in that responsibility for that reason. So, and then again, with the Bills offense, Stephon Diggs, but shout out to Gabriel Davis, like Jerem spoke about again earlier. His coming out party against the Chiefs was just an incredible show. If Jalen Ramsey is going to shadow Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis should be able to have a big game. That's going to be fun to see his development and how he gets targets from Josh Allen and how they look coming off of that playoff loss against the Chiefs, because that was an impressive show from that kid. So this should be fun, man. I think that the Bills can go into LA and just bro, this is a big statement if they can go in that game and kind of show the Rams and the rest of the NFL that they're going to be something big to reckon with.
Term.
All right, as we close out the picks and get ready to close out the show, I want everybody to know, we're going to bring some serious heat. So y'all better be ready. Sunday, best damn preview sports show in the world is coming to y'all Sunday. Make sure y'all remember that. Remember I said that. And tell them True sent you. At the end of the day, we're getting ready to see probably one of the better opening day games we're going to see on a Thursday night, because I think we may get a chess match. We may get Aaron Donald and Josh Allen meeting about 10 times today. This will be a game in which I think that the winner of this game will be determined by who does the three things on defense the best. And in this stage of the season, I'm going to be 110% honest. I think the Bills on paper, as much as they may struggle in this situation, I think the Bills on paper right now are more equipped to be able to handle this than the Rams are today. But I don't think Stafford is as hurt as we may think. I think that this may be a situation where he may be good enough. It may just be he may just need a little WD-40 on that joint. Give me the Los Angeles Rams. How many dollars would it take to turn WD-40 into Miracle Wine? And I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams today, 24-17 for the win. That's what I got.
I love it. So obviously we're going live Sunday morning. We may go live sometime Saturday, preferably in the night. We just have to get together with Vic and Germ and the rest of the crew and try to figure out if everybody can be set for it. It's going to be like a party. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to have a little trivia.
People want to know.
I'm going to line up a trivia real quick. You could answer it in the thread. You could text it to me. Again, I don't know if this has happened more than once. All right, this is off the top. Vic hasn't gotten it yet. I believe it's only happened once. However, who is the most recent team, the most recent Super Bowl winner to open up the season on the road, and who was their opponent? I believe it was the only time it happened, but it may have happened one other time, but I don't remember if it did or not. And
So
I don't
you just
remember
want the
which
most
team.
recent. He wants the most
But
recent.
I'll just flip it to
Yeah.
the most recent. Try not to Google it, but I don't even know if you can Google it. I'm sure you can. Jeremy, you know it? Okay. The most recent Super Bowl winning team to open up on the road is who, and who was their opponent? Game thread coming, announcement coming tomorrow as far as the itinerary for the weekend. That's Vic. I'm Mo. That's True. Take us home, baby.
22. See you Sunday.